Jesus said, "I will not leave you as orphans." God has given us the great privilege of walking with the children of Wellington Orphanage in Sierra Leone, Africa, for the past 14 years. None of this would have been possible without the missionary work of Dr. Conrad Van Dyke and his wife Anna. Anna died in a tragic accident in February, and this year we dedicate our Christmas Joy table to her memory. We invite you to come and read the children's letters, to see their pictures, and to pick up a special memory card honoring the life and work of Mama Anna. In the winter of 2012, our 4-year-old son Jack woke up having difficulties taking full breaths. We were admitted to the intensive care unit at McMaster Children's Hospital. I was terrified and did my best to comfort my son, who remained in ICU for the next 5 days. We were transferred to the general medical unit, and Jack asked if the IV was going to come out. Jack's eyes began to tear, and he said, "I don't want my bones to fall out, Mummy." I needed help. A child life specialist informed us that the hospital had these dolls, and they were helpful in calming kids' fears. The woman quickly returned with a very plain doll, markers, and a small bin of medical supplies. She sat with Jack as he colored the doll, and began talking to him about IVs, why they were used, and about his worries. Together they put an IV in Jack's doll, and then to a 4-year-old's delight they began to put liquid through his doll's IV. Not only did this calm him, but he now had an understanding of what was happening. Thank you very much, Gal, for all your dedication. Wellington Square has had a heart for the people of Mexico for many years. Zach signed up for the trip with no specific expectations. He was encouraged to bring his ukulele to entertain the build crew and family. Much to everyone's surprise, an impromptu jam session broke out with the family. A love of music transcends language barriers, and the bond with the family grew even deeper. During the playing of Amazing Grace for the congregation at the local service Wednesday night, there was a host of voices in both Spanish and English, sharing the joy of worship. It was that evening Zach decided to leave his ukulele for Alfonso. Tearing a page out of his journal, he drew a series of basic chords with instructions for tuning. He tucked it carefully amongst the strings. During the final preparations before the key ceremony, Zach placed the instrument on the bed for the family to find. The discovery was met with shouts of joy, as the family was deeply touched by this generous and thoughtful gift. Mere strangers just 4 days earlier, now lifelong friends. Although the building of the house is the catalyst for the journey, it is really about so much more. First and foremost, I would like to thank God for everything that He is doing for us. I would also like to thank Wellington Square for their support. A year ago, I came across a volunteer when I was going through a difficult time in my life. The community has been nothing but a blessing for me and my family, for their kindness and their support. The dinner on Fridays and the snack program has been absolutely amazing. The love and support I get from the church is making me want to move on to the next day. Without everyone, I don't know where I would be at right now. May the good God continue to bless each and every one of you. The Halfway House program, a key part of Prison Fellowship Ministries in Malawi, is determined to continue its role of serving inmates in transit back into society. At this time, the Malawi Human Rights Commission is working to release many prisoners on death row and life sentences who receive these harsh sentences, sometimes wrongfully convicted. The program helps reintegrate inmates who have spent decades in prison in horrendous conditions with no sense of where or how to start a new life. Recently, the Halfway House helped one ex-inmate, Bison Kala, who was in prison for 24 years for alleged murder and was discharged by the Supreme Court of Appeal. He was released to the Halfway House and has been trained as a tailor and was given a sewing machine at the end of his training. Bison has successfully resettled into the community. We believe that God is inviting us to help more of His kind. Your support will help people like Bison have a chance at starting a new life with hope and encouragement while knowing they are loved by God. At the age of 100, Herma Bailey was Food Grains Bank's oldest supporter and was instrumental in making the connection between Wellington Square Church and the Food Grains Bank. While Herma was a member of our outreach committee, the church began supporting local community growing projects in the area. For more than a decade, these funds have been helping the growing projects cover the cost of agricultural inputs, something Herma knew about having grown up as a farm girl in Saskatchewan and having been a teacher in rural Ontario. We are inspired by the dedication and commitment that Herma showed, and for your continued support to the work of Canadian Food Grains Bank in ending global hunger. What an inspiring example of stewardship.